Hey everyone, Brenda here. So I have been working on another video, and in that video I've been working on making a Métis sash beaded bag, and this is it right here. I'll just show you quickly. Not finished, not by a long shot, but I've run out of this wildfire thread, so I have to order more, and I've also run out of red beads. It's pretty intense on the red beads, so I can't do that video right now. I really wanted to have that one done and finished, but haven't had a chance. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a tutorial for you today. And have you seen these beads? Zoom in a little bit here. These are AVA beads, and they come from the Potomac Bead Company, and they're pretty cool. They've got 3 holes, so they've got one hole at the top of the bead. Whoops, sorry, I'm out of frame here. So they've got one hole at the top of the bead, then they've got one hole through that leg and that leg. So those two you can kind of join together. So they've got 3 holes. And when I first saw these beads, I was thinking, oh my God, this is ridiculous. I really don't want to work with those beads. And you know, there's so many new bead styles that are being developed and coming out like crazy. It's kind of hard to keep up, and every time you see a tutorial you think, oh, I need to get those beads. And I really didn't like these beads. I thought there's no real practical application for those, for me anyway. But then I saw Stephanie from Bronze Pony on her YouTube channel, and she did some beautiful things. She did a beautiful wrapped bracelet, which I'm going to be making, and also something she called the Tiva Necklace, and I thought it was really, really beautiful. So I changed my mind and decided I would work with these. So let me get those out of the way, and I'm going to show you what I made. Now, this is the second time I've filmed this because I played and played and played with this design, and I'm so happy that I stuck with it, because this, let me just zoom out a little bit because I can't fit the whole thing in there. There's no way. But this is what I came up with. I love Tila beads. So I got some red Tila beads, and when I saw them, I thought, wow, I wonder how I could connect those with the AVA beads. And of course, AVA beads, to me, when I really started playing with them, I thought they are desperate to have daggers in them. They just have to. So this is the necklace that I'm going to take you through the tutorial on how to make this, because I really think it's quite pretty. And I was very proud of myself for I don't know, just doing an ad hoc challenge, I guess. But I came up with I don't know, 4 or 5 other designs with this, and I've taken this necklace apart so many times, and I finally decided on this. Just the type of beads that I was using, things were getting scrunched up, and I couldn't really get the curvature that I wanted, but I'm really happy with this design. So this is what I'm going to show you. I'll get that out of the way. And I'll pull my bead mat forward. I finally managed to find a way to not have my bead mat always in my way here. So I'm going to just pull this forward. I'm going to come out a little bit just so I can show you sort of everything that we're going to be working with today. All the things that you'll need, and then I'll give you colors and everything like that. So of course, thread zapper, and each of these things I'll get out of the way. I'm using some Fireline. 2.7 kilogram Fireline, and in white, in the crystal. You can use whatever color you like, but that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to use my my little needle nose, or my little pliers, because I found that sometimes it's just handy to have them. I'm going to be working with 2 needles actually. For the most part, the project's only going to be working with 1 needle. Now, normally I really prefer these 11 shorts, and but for this project it just seemed to work better with this this 12 long one. just seemed to work out better. So those are the needles I'll be using. I've got a magnetic clasp here. Get that out of the way. So I think that's it for tools. And then what I've got here is I've got my Tila beads, and let me just see what color I have there. So these are the opaque metallic gold iris. And those I got from Bead FX. So those ones. And then the AVA bead color that I'm using, it's vintage copper. The ones on my other necklace, these are Jade Picasso, and I love that color. So you need, I think it's 19 Tilas. You're going to need 18 AVAs, or however long you want to make your necklace. It's totally up to you. I think I've got 38 4mm round, and then in this one I use Czech fire polish 4mm, and whatever you want to use I think will work just fine. You'll need 18 daggers. And what color are my daggers? They are opaque turquoise green. You're going to need some 3 different color size 15s, or you could just work with 1 or 2 colors, whatever your preference is. So this one is also an opaque turquoise. It's a Miyuki. This one is also a Miyuki, and it's dark bronze. And then this one is also a Miyuki size 15 galvanized berry. So these are all the 15s, and I'm going to use all 3 colors, but you could get away with whatever you want. You don't have to do all 3. You could do 2 or 1 or whatever. We're going to need some size 11s, and these are Miyuki, and they're bronze opaque metallic. Some size 8s, which are also an opaque turquoise green. And finally, we want some size 6. These are Tohos though, doesn't matter. So these are Toho size 6, and these are metallic olive brown iris. So that's all the materials you're going to need. I'm going to get myself set up with my threading, putting some thread on my needle. I'm going to do an arm span. Oh, and you're going to need a few stop beads as well, so make sure you have some of those. I'm going to go and get myself ready, and I will meet you back in a minute. What I'm going to start with doing is I'm actually going to pick up one of my 4mm, and I'm going to also pick up one of my size 11s. So I'll slide those down to the end. So I've got my stop bead there, and I want to make sure that that's a color that's not going to be part of my my work here. So I've got my 4mm and my size 11 on. So slide that down. And now I'm going to just show you the first little part, because really this isn't bead weaving per se. This is actually just going to be bead stringing. So once you sort of get the sequence, it won't be hard. So the first part is 4mm, my 11, and then I want to pick up my my first Tila. So I'm going to pick up a 15-0, a 4mm, and a 15-0, and slide that down. And then I want one of my AVA beads. And then I'm going to do the sequence again. So a 15, a 4, a 15, and a Tila. No matter what side you got, I tend not to worry about it. I just don't think it's a big deal. Okay, so that's what you should have. And an AVA. All right, and so what I think, I don't know if I've told you, but I left about a, I don't know, a 12 or 13 centimeters of tail here, because I'm going to use that to put the clasp on and finish off some of the other beadwork and stuff. So, and this is the length of the string is from the center of the chest right out to the end of one of the arms. You really don't need an awful lot, because I'm actually going to be using 2 different strings on here. I'm not going to use the same one and kind of come back, and you'll see how all that works. So there you go. Keep doing that until you have put on 19 of the Tilas and 18 of your AVAs. And then you can end off with an 11 and a 4mm. All right, I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so I'm down to my last few here. And so picking up my last sequence. Now on the end, keeping in mind that we are now going to be using our size 11 along with our 4mm round. And what I want to do now is I want to put a stop bead on here. So this stays nice and still while I am working on the rest of the necklace. And I'm going to go through that twice just so it stays sort of tight. If I could get my needle through there again. There we go. So I want it to stay somewhat tight, and I'm going to face this towards me now. Because on this part, it's a little bit easier for me to go from this side to this side. Okay, so I got my second string on. I'm going to put my stop bead on. And stop bead, hopefully you've guessed by now, or maybe you already know, is there to stop the beads from falling off either side. So the way I do it is I put this on, leave myself a good tail, 12 centimeters or so, and then come back in through the same way from the tail up. And I'm going to do that twice because it makes it a little more stable that way. By the way, if you hear music in the background, it's my husband. He's packing to go away for a while on a trip, so he's just putting some music on to do that with. All right, so what I want to do now is this is where I'm going to be using a few of my my different beads, and I'm trying to make a decision in terms of the colors that I want to do. So first thing is I want to go through my 4mm that's already attached, just the 4mm, not the 11 that's beside it. Sorry, I'm way off base here. So I'm going to go through just the 4mm. I'm going to slide all the way down to my stop bead. And then I want to take another 11. So I've got this 11 going into the top hole. I'm going to come through the bottom hole of this part of the Tila, just so I have 2 11s on there. Get my tail end out of the way there. So now I have to decide on the colors that I want to use here. So I'm going to just see what I like best. And what I want to do is I want to put on 4 15s. And I'm just trying to see if this is the color combination that I'm going to like, or if I want to sort of scrap one of them all together. We'll see. Now, there we go. Actually, that looks kind of cool. But I want to see what it looks like with the turquoise, if that's going to be a better color choice for me. I think I like the turquoise better than this little sort of bronze, so looks like I'll be going down to 2 colors. Okay, so what I did was I put my thread through the 4mm, picked up another 11, went through the lower part of my Tila there, and then I picked up turquoise, 2 galvanized berry, 1 turquoise, and I went through the lower part of the AVA bead here. So the next part then is to be picking up a berry, galvanized berry, go through a dagger and another berry, and go through the other side of the Tila. Oh, I think this is going to look really nice. I think I like those colors very much. Okay, so the next sequence is 1 turquoise, 2 galvanized berry, and 1 turquoise. And I'm going to go through the lower hole of this next Tila right here. See, it wants to flip around on me, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to move my necklace down just a little bit here so I can handle it a little bit easier. Okay, so I just went back up into this Tila, so I need some more beads on. So 1 turquoise, 2 berry, 1 turquoise, and through this first hole of the AVA. Some of these holes get blocked and they're pretty easy to clear out. You just take another thicker needle or a pin or something and you can open them up again, and it's not a big deal. Okay, and so now we're back to putting on one of the daggers. So you can put berry, galvanized berry, dagger, galvanized berry. Now some people I've seen try to fit this in there and then try to run their needles through and picking up and holding that there. I just find that that's really awkward for me, so I just pick up the stuff I need, go through the next hole, because guess what? It's just going to pop right in there, just like that, and I don't have to hold it there. It's just going to go there naturally. Now, one other thing I'll show you is that if you don't really like these long daggers, you can actually get the smaller daggers that I showed in one of my, I think it was a dollar bead box. I had the little tiny purple daggers, which you could use those, or if you want something even smaller, these are gecko beads. And these are kind of like the dragon scale beads. Yeah, so the hole is side to side. So they're just like the dragon scale beads. And the dragon scale beads, though, the hole goes kind of front to back. It's not side to side, but I'll put this on. I don't have a bead on there, of course, but see how cute that would be as well if you didn't want to use the big long daggers. So if you're not into the longer dangly daggers, you could use gecko beads, or you can use the smaller daggers. So that'll work good too. I'll finish this off off camera, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm pretty close to the last one here. So I'll just go through this one with you again, picking up 1 turquoise, 2 15 berry, 1 turquoise 15, and I go through the Tila bead. And get caught on the dagger, of course. And then I want to pick up another 11 and go through the 4mm, skipping the 11 that's already there on the top part of the Tila. And there we go. So I'm absolutely loving this so far. I think this looks great. Now I was going to do my dark 6/0s, but these are almost the size of a 6/0, so I'm going to use these to string up the end of my my necklace. So I'm going to use a few of these, and I might actually pop some of those in. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I'm going to keep the turquoise 8/0s and pull a few of those out. They're just flying everywhere for some reason. I don't know why. Sliding them down. I'm just scattering them for some strange reason. Okay, So pour a few of those out. I don't need many. I'm going to make this necklace just a touch shorter than the other one I had. I wasn't too thrilled with that length. It was just a bit too long. I wanted it up a little bit higher on me. So I'm going to remove my stop bead. Now, it's a bad idea to actually drag your stop bead off the way I'm doing that because it grinds your thread. So it's best not to do that, but I'm doing it. So now I'm going to thread my other needle. There we are. These are the 11 galvanized berry, and I've got some smaller ones there. And in fact, I may even add these in sort of interspersed in here. We'll see how that all looks, because I really kind of like that color combination. I think it's incredibly pretty. So I've got one needle on already, and I'll get my other needle on now. So we're going to start with, I know I've got one of these on already, but we're going to start with, we'll do two of those to make that as our 3. Okay, so we'll have those. Okay, 2 8s, 2 galvanized 11, and 2 8s. And then, let's see. And then another 3 of these, 4 millimeters. And then I'm going to do one turquoise. And then I'm going to just kind of put that needle in there for now. And then this needle, I want it to go up all of those beads. So it's going to go in all the same beads. Make sure I don't miss any. There we go. Hopefully my fingers weren't in the way too much there. Okay, so now what I want to do is on each needle, I'm going to pick up 3 size 11s. So there's one size 11, or one with 3 11s on it, and my other needle, 3 11s on. And I'm going to take one needle, and this is my magnetic clasp. So I'm going to take one needle and go through that way. And I'm going to go in the opposite direction with my other needle. And then I'm going to just pull them apart. There we go. And now I'm going to take this needle down through those 3 galvanized berry, size 11, just through those, and pull. And then I'll do the same with this needle. And it's kind of hard because this magnetic clasp keeps attaching to my needles. So I'm just going down opposite sides here. There we go. And now I'm actually going to tie some knots in this. I'm actually going to tie knots right here. I'll do one single knot. And I'll do that again, and now this time I'm going to go through twice. There we go. And then I'm going to do one more tie, just sort of a basic tie here. Just one single knot there. And now I'm going to go down through a few beads. I'm going to go down through the turquoise 8, the 4 millimeters, and come out there, and then I'll do the same thing with my long needle. I just want to tie several knots. And here comes the dog, pushing his way in yet again. Okay, so I'm going to just do another knot here. I'm going to tie a fair amount of knots. And then just another going through the loop once. And there we are. That'll do. my magnetic clasp is just catching onto my needles like crazy. So, all right, and then I'm going to just drag that knot down inside those beads. I'm just going to take them down a couple. And I'll take this one off the magnetic clasp. There we go. I can remove my needles now. And then I can just burn off my thread. And that's one side done. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to finish off the other side and attach it to this part of the clasp. And our necklace will be done. So I'll be back in 1 minute. Well, there you have it. That is the necklace completed. I'm really excited about this. I did notice a little mistake I made. I have 3 sets of my 4 millimeter rounds here and only 2 sets there, but it's okay. I'm not giving it away to anybody. I'm not selling it. It's actually for me, and all I got to do is move that clasp around a little bit and it'll be just fine. So that's the necklace. Let me grab the other one. There's our 2 different little colors here. So both of them slightly different from each other, but just absolutely beautiful, I think, anyway. On the next video that I do, I'm going to be doing my July bead review of the dollar bead box and the Blueberry Cove. So I'm going to do that one, and then I'm going to do the Blueberry Cove challenge as the video after that. And hopefully by that time my beads for my Métis sash bag will be in, and I'll finish that video off. And at some point in time I'm going to be doing a series on peyote stitch. And it's not really, I mean, some of it's going to be a little bit like what you're going to see on other channels, what other people are teaching. But I've really found some cool ways of working with peyote stitch, of doing different things with it. So I'm going to be doing quite a series. I don't know how many videos in the series I will be doing, so you can look out for that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this project. If you do decide to make one of these, let me see some pictures. Other than that, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, night, or whatever part of the day you're on. Bye-bye.